So, recently we put out an Instagram story about asking our wonderful OM community and interns about asking us a load of questions to get to know us a bit more.
Indeed, yeah, and our interns have kindly pulled together 21. I think they've thrown in a few questions themselves as well, just to get to know us a little bit more also. But yeah, shall we dive straight in?
Yes, let's get into it. Yeah. So, first question, what is your dream collaboration?
Working with a huge sports brand because of my background within photography, and my grassroots project would make sense.
I think mine would be working with Iris Van Helpen and just doing a wonderful, out of this world, alien inspired shoot.
And looks a bit plain now. If time and money were not a problem, what is your wildest editorial concept?
I think the alien editorial was pretty cool. No one steal it. No, but I think I actually stripping it back a little bit. I think doing something like a dollhouse inspired editorial would be amazing, and then I would probably turn it into a book, and it would be a massive behind the scenes documentary kind of editorial book. It would be huge.
Mine would be just something different compared to like what I said before. Big set. No, it's a really hard question. It's a good question actually. Something on stage, big set, would be great.
With the best models.
Yeah, like I say,
supermodels.
90s supermodels. Alexandra McQueen-esque. Yeah.
You'd have to. It would be rude not to. Describe yourself in a hashtag.
Monotone.
Hashtag Mr. Monotone.
Off camera, you said how monotone I was, so it only makes sense.
No. Oh my god, maybe mine should be Mrs. More Life.
Life.
Too much life.
Yeah, hashtag too much life. Hashtag Mr. Monotone. There we go. Best piece of advice you have received?
Oh, that's really interesting. Really interesting. It's difficult. For this one, I'm not entirely sure because I've been given a lot of bad advice that I've just not taken, rather than some good advice. I think recently we've both kind of had this piece of advice where it's like, don't be comfortable, stop being so comfortable, and I think that's a really good little nugget of advice. Best advice I've received in a long time. Yeah, I think.
Not to be comfortable, always keep moving, and then a bit cheesy, but never perfect, always improve.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Tea. Maybe that should be my hashtag, Mrs. Potts, Mrs. Teapots.
What is inspiring you in your life right now?
Oh gosh, these questions already. Wow. What is inspiring me in my life right now?
Obviously not a lot.
Well, no. This is the thing is, I get inspired by everybody and everything. I like to think, whilst I have my own opinions and some things I'm very black and white with things, I'm also very open-minded to a lot of way of being. So this is again quite controversial, but like how people are using AI and putting it into their own practice, I think is very inspiring, and it's also encouraging because it just demonstrates that we still need artists, we still need people. It's just the AI is the tool that just helps us a little bit. So I think that's quite inspiring and quite creative at the moment. What about you?
Me, probably everything we're doing here at OM. The community, the artists, the interns, everyone, yourself, sort of. I think I like that's what keeps me going every day, and that's why we continue to do what we're doing. So.
Who do you want to write your obituary?
Another good question.
Well, but I mean, by the time we die, we'll be in a cage somewhere.
Dead or alive. I mean, I want to say David Attenborough because we've just been watching Planet Earth 3. Yeah, I wouldn't know what else to say. Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman I think would be a good one. I think I've seen some bloopers. He did a wildlife documentary, and the bloopers with his voice was so funny. Him swearing is
Denzel
the
Washington.
best. Oh, yeah.
Someone like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You?
I would be the same.
the same,
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be the same. Yeah.
Okay. What is one thing no one knows about you?
I would say, ooh, that's interesting. I'm not actually an interesting person, but the one thing that people don't know, and I mask this really well, is that I'm dyslexic.
I would never have known.
That's a lie. Give me a sum to add up. And I'm like, nope, can't see it.
A few people know this, but probably no one in OM, but I used to model for Disneyland Paris.
And we don't get free trips to Disney, which is very upsetting.
Yeah, Disney.
Yes, we're coming for you.
You give us a free trip.
What's the one thing you would like to have done by this time next year?
I would say personally, like something a little bit more substantial in terms of my photography career, taking it to that next. I actually would love to do a solo exhibition with my grassroots project, but with OM, I would love for us to have an office space in London somewhere, develop our team, grow, something like that would be. I mean, I just don't know how I would be able to put into words if and when that happens. So.
Yeah. No, I think in terms of OM, I think that would be amazing. That might be more of a 5-year plan.
Yeah, not next year.
Cost of living crisis. No, of course. But that's definitely a goal. For me as well, like I would have to say maybe not a solo exhibition, but definitely a book. I've never done that before. Even when I was at uni, I never had a book. I was very much more prints and maybe like a catalogue rather than an actual book or a zine. So that's something I would like to have done maybe.
How do you get out of a creative rut?
Oh my God. Wow. I mean, what makes you all think that we can?
Maybe we have been in a creative rut for the last 3-4 years.
Yeah, exactly. The audacity to assume that we can get out of it. But no, there are tricks and tools, and I would say don't rush it, I think, if you are in a creative rut, because there is nothing worse than trying to force that to come out, because then you're not creating your best work and you're doing it because, Instagram and all of this, we've got to be creating content all the time, and if you're in a creative rut, that's really difficult. So I would say don't rush it and just try to come back to your creativeness in your own time.
I mean, I think some of the advice we got when we were at uni was just keep shooting through it, which I completely disagree. I actually think taking yourself away, and maybe even you're doing something still creative but completely unrelated to, say, what you are working on at that time, the project, the dissertation, whatever. Obviously going for walks, getting your headspace clear, something like that. So I would go with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think you... Do you want to go?
What's your comfort TV series that you like to binge?
Only Fools and Horses and Big Bang Theory. Friends. Was pursuing, so this is like a 2-part question. So was pursuing a creative career, an easy decision for you? And the part 2 to this is, did you always know you were a creative?
Personally, I knew I was a creative, but being a photographer and an editor in particular was just never even a consideration. I wanted to be an actor on the stage. I love theatre. I'm a theatre kid, so that's kind of where I thought my career was going to go. But then I had my uncle gave me a camera and it was a Billy Elliot moment, and I knew that was what I wanted to do. In terms of being an editor, it wasn't even a thought process until we met at uni, and then we kind of started this journey for original magazines. So yeah, always knew I was going to be creative, but the editor part in particular, it was just not even a consideration. We didn't study it, we didn't train. we're kind of not learning as we go along, but we're learning a lot in a very short space of time.
I mean, I think looking back, I probably knew I was creative, but it was never really something that I was encouraged to, explore. And it most definitely hasn't been an easy career decision. I mean, I think my parents wish I stuck to graphic design, which I think I might have said in another episode at some point. But yeah, photography just came to me when I was traveling, around Australia, as you do. The cliche, leave the UK and go as far as you can. So yeah, never easy, I don't think, to be a creative.
No, it isn't. What's the first thing you do when starting a new project?
Research and more research, apparently. Well, yeah, I think that's key.
Yes.
I mean, I couldn't sit here and then not say that after just doing my 5 things I wish I knew. But I also, like in life, failing early on in your project is so key, in my opinion. So even when you've researched and you're out there and you're shooting maybe what you think you want, it is what you want to do. You may fall into it, but the likelihood is you won't. So get out there early once you've done that initial research, start shooting, start exploring, and start creating, and then realize really quickly, the whole fail fast.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think research is such a key thing when you're starting a project. I tend to write a lot. I think when I first have projects, whether it's like a mini one or a big one, I'm not a writer, but I tend to brain dump a lot in a sketchbook, and then if I can see the end product of how it looks, then I know that that's the one that I need to do. Not a lot of them start, not a lot of them you end up starting, not a lot of them you end up finishing, and I think that's kind of the good thing about writing things down, because you can always go back to it. So writing things down and research, I think, are quite key things when you start a project.
A 2-part question here, which is really great. So how do you find inspiration for a new project? And then the second part to that is, how do you know if an idea is worth pursuing?
Kind of answered that in the previous one. So again, I find inspiration with everything, in particular designers and their illustrations. I find so much inspiration with that. I think designers and illustrators are some of the most creative people in the industry. The way that they're able to put something down on paper and then make it into a physical thing, and then in order for somebody to wear it, I think those stages are so incredible. So technically, in a nutshell, I find inspiration within the fashion industry for that portion. And how do I know an idea is worth pursuing? Yeah, I work backwards. If I can see it, and if I can see it either up in the wall or in Photoshop or wherever, then I know that that's the one. It's a bit McQueen-like, because he used to do the same, but I understand that. If you can see a final product, then for me, that's when you know that that's the way, and then it's the journey and the next stages into making it to the end, if that makes sense.
Inspiration comes from all sorts of different parts. So I think it's so key to be really broad. I mean, we just had a meeting with a really influential figure in marketing, and they were saying when you're first starting out to be as broad as possible. Don't sort of be too narrow. And I think that's key to being inspired by things like you said, poetry, illustration, fashion design. It could be something that's not even related within the creative industry. So yeah, definitely. For me, what inspires me is all of those things. And then, to be honest with you, a bit different to you, I don't really know sometimes if it is worthwhile pursuing it. And like you said, you can, and we actually, when we first started out, renowned photographer Alex Soph said, you will start projects and then you'll be halfway through and realise actually it's just going nowhere. But you can't get to that point until you start and you start shooting. So actually half the time you might not know, and it won't be until you've actually got your maybe a quarter of the way, halfway through a project, or just starting, or even towards the end, and you're like, I've done all this work and it means nothing. But yeah.
What is one book everyone should read and one film that everyone should watch? So that's a 2-parter.
It is a 2-parter. I'm not much of a bookie nowadays, to be honest with you, but in terms of films, I would say especially those in creative industry, maybe The Fabelmans, Tick Tick Boom, something like that. I know we've referenced those in the past, but I think either one of those is really worth watching. Obviously, you've got new films like Oppenheimer and Barbie that have come out, which are both really incredible for different reasons. Book, I read Carl Pilkington's biographies, so like that says a lot about me when I'm getting away from the creative industry. So I don't think it's worth me recommending a book.
I think for me, I've literally just bought this one. So it's called The Mindful Creative: How to Understand and Deal with the Highs and Lows of Creative Life, Career and Business. I think I've never read it, but I stumbled
upon it, but you're going to recommend it?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, isn't it? You know, you don't get a lot of books that kind of talk about the highs and lows of the creative industry. So I think that's really quite important. I've recently just got a book. It's called Colorama. It's with Carolina O'Hara and Elsa Fitzprover, I believe their name is pronounced. Really sorry if it's not. But that's more of it's more of a an imagery book, but it's just breathtaking. And Fearless by Trini Woodall as well. Again, that one's a bit more like makeup, life skills, but she's so to the point with everything, and there's a bit more about her life, you know, words of wisdom and advice. So that's a really good one, and the book is lovely as well.
You can tell who the bookie is out of the two of us.
Such a nerd. Oh, and film, yeah. Oppenheimer, All Quiet on the Western Front, Tick Tick Boom. All Quiet on the Western Front. What a film. And also, really, really weirdly, Chef as well.
Yeah.
I think Chef, the soundtrack, the food, everything. Okay, it's a bit wishy-washy, you know, the critic at the end giving him that opportunity because, like, doesn't really happen to the majority of us, but the core of it and the way it's filmed, the food, the music, it is very inspiring and it's wonderful. Next one.
Yes. So what couple/business duo could you beat in a cook-off?
Okay. After seeing the Beckham documentary, I want to see David Beckham and Victoria Beckham in the kitchen. I want to beat them. I want us to get that barbecue out.
Can we make that happen?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you imagine if we could call out David Beckham and Victoria Beckham, if they're there and you somehow come across Original Magazine and this podcast and this video, we would love to take you on at a cook-off. So let's try and make this happen.
Yes, come on!
Right.
Next one. Oh, here we go. Describe each other's personal style in 2 words.
That's difficult, actually, isn't it? So it is difficult.
Yeah.
I would say, like, unique. This is me describing yours, by the way. I know it's a bit of a poor sort of choice of words, but definitely unique and flamboyant.
Yes, very much so. I'm a bit more airing as I get older. I'm a bit more airing on the Carrie Bradshaw.
Yeah.
And hence the jumper and the.
See, I'll go with those two.
Yeah. What would I describe yours? I think yours is quite sophisticated. I think.
With my yellow jumper.
Yeah, but it's like sophisticated and like.
Oh, I go to art school.
Yeah. I go to art school. Yeah, I think it is though. I think it is. I think it's a cross between, actually, for me, 3 words. I think, yeah, comfortable, arty, and sophisticated. Because you've got some nice trousers on at the moment, and then you've put a really nice jumper with it. So it's like a nice, smart, casual.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we can move on from my wardrobe choices. So, what kitchen appliance would the other person be, and why? I want to answer this, even though I've asked you this, because you will be a spatula. Because that's all you're good for, is stirring the sauce.
You know what? It's the magic stir. You can't go wrong with it. I'm like that Baby Yoda meme where it's like, oh, my husband's cooking a great meal and here I am with a spatch ready to stir. That is literally me. That's literally me. Oh, this is difficult because you're so good in the kitchen. You see, I think I would say like a really nice mortar and pestle, because then you like mix pestle and mortar and
But
pestle.
yeah.
That thing. The really nice one, like the marble, and you kind of crunch all like the lovely like spices and salt and peppers and yeah. Either that or salt, I think, because you put just salt, like a really nice.
Salty.
It's not salty. It's just you put every time. Every time I try to cook something, you're right over my shoulder, just like splashing some salt in, or you'll walk past and go, salt? You got a bit of salt? This could be quite controversial, that one.
I'm gonna fall out.
Yes. Or was it me asking? Right. So, most proud moment for Original Magazine so far?
So many, actually, to be honest with you. You know, bringing on our 2 really great interns at the moment to physical exhibitions, to meeting some of our idols within photography. Well, you know, I say idols, but particularly for me as well. But and just, I think every day is, because we're just nearing. It's a bit cliche and a bit, you know, I don't know, a bit. Yeah, just a bit cliche, I guess, isn't it? But every day is a proud moment, because we're pushing towards, you know, our end goal. So yeah, I would say a multitude of things, really.
Yeah. No, I agree. There has been peaks where I sit there and think, fuck, like this is really, really cool. So like when we stand back in physical exhibitions and everyone's like looking around, coming up to speak to us, saying how great it is, like that is a proud moment, absolutely. But kind of taking it all the way back to when we first pushed that publish button, I think that was quite proud. I think I was quite proud, because we just had the courage to go off and do it, and we're still here today. So that's pretty great, I think.
Yeah. This is where we'll fall out. Hardest part of working with your partner?
I think it's when we just don't have the time to switch off, if that makes sense. I think that can be quite difficult. Obviously, we work together, we live together. You know, we're both photographers. It's very difficult to talk about other things other than work. So it is difficult to switch off sometimes. But I think as we grow and develop, I think we're working hard to make sure that we switch off. You know. Not that running 2 businesses is like a 9-to-5 thing, not at all, because it isn't. But we try really hard, I like to think now, where we kind of switch off round about the. Well, at some point.
This part of working with your partner is working with your partner.
That's very wise.
Yeah, no, but it is, because everything you've said is true. You can't really. It's like getting that work-life balance, which again doesn't really exist in our line of work at times. So, just knowing when to switch off, put everything down tools and stuff like that. But you know, we're working on that.
Yes. Ooh, what are the core values of Original Magazine?
It's got, individuality, you know, diversity, you know, offering people opportunity to share. You know, it says it on our website. You know, we share and we create, you know, original stories, you know, everything. Everything is encompassing around students and giving them a platform to feel comfortable to share their story, share their work. And yeah, hopefully one day breaking the sort of stereotypical and the really entrenched values that were once there in the creative industry, and giving people that opportunity. So, and being honest.
Yeah, I would say honesty is very much a core value, because, you know, as we know, there's, you know, institutions, universities, different platforms that still give the illusion that you can just walk out and get the highest paid job. You can get this instantly, and we know that whilst that could be true for some people, which it is, but it isn't for the majority, especially when you're first starting out as well. So yeah, hopefully we're kind of breaking the boundaries and breaking those barriers down for everybody to just be a bit more transparent on everything.
Yeah. How do you celebrate achievements for the platform?
I cry. I'm a crier, so I tend to cry, basically. That's how I celebrate.
I don't think we really celebrate as such. I mean, I know that sounds bad, like we do. We have the physical exhibitions and we celebrate like, quietly, but I think we do it very quietly.
Yes.
Because also we've got to be humble, like what we're doing is incredible, but also we know we've got a long way to go as well. So it's hard to get too excited about, and maybe that's wrong. I'm not saying that's right. And I'm actually very much let's step away. I don't really want to need to be known. I'd rather just be in the background. So, and I think that sort of reflects why we don't like go crazy about celebrating, all the work that we do. And also it's not about us as such, it's about everyone else. So it's hard to then go, oh, look at the incredible work we're doing, when actually without everyone else, the interns, the artists, the students, people submitting, people following, people showing support, we wouldn't be here. So
well, yeah, we would be nothing without the community and people entrusting us with their artworks, both digitally and physically. Our incredible interns. Without everybody, we wouldn't be here. We didn't start this platform to kind of showcase how wonderful we are, because that's just not how we work. So, yeah,
finally, we've got one more just here.
What drives you to fulfill the purpose of your work, come rain or shine, tribulations, and the roller coaster of life? So it's kind of like a three-part.
Yeah. Three-part that ends like a bit. I mean, everything we've said basically encompasses this question, really, doesn't it? What drives you? The people. Those moments where it's been really difficult, planning the exhibitions and going through all the hell, and then seeing everyone come together, and everyone's enjoying the art and chatting and things like that. That really is so fulfilling, and that's why we love doing them, even though they are a pain in the arse most of the time.
The organising of it all.
And organising of it all and everything like that. And then, just seeing people, like we've had so many success stories as well, which again, we don't really speak about, when we've had lots of students come our way and now they're doing other things. They've gone off to work with other publications, other companies, and the fact that they're coming to us for the references and wanting us to showcase, how great they were when they were with us. Like, again, that's like some great small wins that we don't necessarily always talk about. So those are really fulfilling.
No, I agree absolutely. We're just at the end of the day, I think we're just very lucky of how far we've come. We've learned a lot in a very short space of time. How old are we now? Coming up to like 4 years old, and look what we've achieved in this very short. Is it 3?
Well, 2020, and we're in 2023. So
oh well, yeah, we're coming up for 3 years old. So
it's 3 years old. They're really only.
We're just a baby publication, but we're growing every single day, and that's very fulfilling as well, knowing that we're growing.
Well,
I think that's
everything. I cannot thank everyone enough for everything that you've done, as always. The questions were difficult, I think it's fair to say.
And good fun.
And good fun, really good fun, but difficult, and challenged us. So maybe we'll do another one, in a few months' time, maybe going into the new year. But thank you once again for everyone who shared a question, and for everyone who's again always constantly supporting us. Please, if you haven't already, make sure to follow us at Original Magazine. This is what we love doing. We love talking, as you probably can tell. 21 questions, that's gone on for like nearly half an hour. So thank you again, and stay tuned for loads more, and bring on the Beckhams.